Welcome back to Let There Be Ears. Today we are joined again by Annie, a registered audiologist who will be transferring her skills as a registered audiologist to becoming an interviewer, to ask yours truly, myself, a couple of questions that you may have never heard before. Before we do, make sure to hit the subscribe button, comment on some of the things you wish to see in some of our future videos, and make sure to hit the like button as well. Hello everyone, my name is Yat. I'm deaf without hearing aids. I'm hard of hearing with hearing aids. I have microtia where I have little ears. When I grew up, I wear a bone-anchored hearing aid.
And we're back with Tea Time with Yat and Annie. I'm sure a lot of your viewers have some burning questions that they want to ask, and today let's see if we can get some juicy information and hear some stories from Yat. So Yat, why don't we go back to the very beginning? So in your childhood, you grew up in Hong Kong, is that correct?
That is right. I was born in Hong Kong many moons ago, and when my mother gave birth to me, she found out that I have little ears, which is a condition called microtia, which is a congenital deformity that affects 1 in a couple thousand births. So I was quite lucky where both my ears were affected. Normally, microtia affects one side, but I won the lottery and it affected both my ears.
So Yat, growing up, at what age did you start to wear a hearing aid? I remember seeing that picture where you had the headband. So how old were you when you were fitted with that?
Great question. I recall wearing that headband of mine because I have what audiologists and you would call this a conductive hearing loss. Because I have a conductive hearing loss, I would be able to hear as long as there was a headband or a conductive hearing device that is placed up around my mastoid, which is where the bone is to the side of my head. And I had that pressed on one side, so I would be able to hear in junior, in elementary school. So I wore that for a good many years before I got surgery for the bone-anchored hearing aid.
And at that time, were you wearing your prosthetic ears as well, or did that come later?
Yeah, wearing the prosthetic came a lot later in life. So between when I was born to about when I was 13 or 14 years old, I didn't wear ear prosthetics. I didn't know who to see. I didn't know of any anaplastologists who could operate or at least give me a chance to wear ear prosthesis. I mean, I didn't even know about the potential ability to even have the opportunity to wear ear prosthetics. So I didn't get to wear them until maybe I was 13 or 14. And at that point, I had to glue them every single morning because I still had the little ears with me intact. So I had to press these prostheses on top of my ear for a good 45 seconds after I trace them with adhesive glue, they call it. And I trace them, I blow dry them, and then I add more coats, and then I push them on each side. And each morning I would have to spend about 45 minutes before I could go out.
Wow. You know, these are things that you don't think about as a layperson when you see someone with prosthetics, that you don't think about the time and the effort it takes for them to get ready every single morning. Is it the same process for you now? Do you still have to put them on every morning, or is it a little bit different now?
It's a little bit more different now. Thanks to technology and also multiple surgeries, I have 3 low voltage magnets installed to each side of my head. So these magnets help attract the current prosthesis in together on its place. So obviously they come on and off as I pull them or put them on, but it's renewed my early morning routine. I no longer have to spend 45 minutes to an hour trying to glue my ear, wash my hair, yada yada yada. It's more like, you know what, I wake up, brush my teeth, shower, do what I need to do in the morning, put these ears on, put on my glasses, and off I go to work.
Right. That must make things a lot more efficient and a lot easier than spending, 45 minutes in the morning trying to get ready. That's why Yat is always on time and I'm the one blowing my hair and trying to get ready and always running behind for our scheduled things.
Well, that's why Annie is the really pretty one and I'm not.
No. We're gonna get haters down below. So Yat, from your experience in Hong Kong, being, a child who's hearing impaired, wearing a bone-anchored hearing aid, which is, a lot less discreet than your typical hearing aids, which, let's say girls with long hair, they can cover if they want to. Bone-anchored hearing aids, they're a lot more, they're a lot bulkier, right? Especially the ones that you wear as a headband. When you were going through elementary school, did you experience any sort of discrimination or being looked at in a different kind of light?
When I was a child, I suffered from self-esteem issues. I had low self-esteem, low self-confidence. I didn't know my condition really well either, and I didn't have the vocabulary to comprehend explaining what my condition is to the teachers, to my friends and peers, and family members. So I always struggled when people asked me questions about, hey, can you please explain what happened to your ear? Or, hey, can you hear me? When people might ask because I didn't hear well growing up. So I oftentimes actually avoided those questions, and I naturally just try to turn away, or I try to steer the questions away from about my ear, or my hearing aid. So it was more of an avoidance technique that I learned as a child, which obviously I don't recommend, because I really encourage families who have children with microtia or hearing loss, or if you are going through a hearing loss journey as well, to understand your situation and condition, embrace it, love yourself for who you are, and do not be afraid to share your conditions with your family, friends, and peers.
Yeah, that's really great, Yat. It's really important for individuals to advocate for themselves and to ask for repetition when it is needed to understand the conversation better. So it's great that you're doing that and encouraging others to do the same. So Yat, you are recently engaged. Congratulations. What was it like when you shared your hearing loss story with your fiance?
When it comes to dating or when it comes to relationships, I always found a way to hide some of my imperfections when I was younger. So, whether it was growing my hair long to cover my prosthetics, to growing my hair long to cover my bone-anchored hearing device, I always tried to avoid even this topic. But as I grew up, I started to realize that, you can't hide anymore. You can't wear that mask, because when two people are together, your imperfections are going to show. The reality of who you are is going to seep into your day-to-day life. So when I recognized that, I needed to take off that mask and to be who I really am, and to be my colorful person that I could be, in order to show not others but more so myself, that I can be true to myself and be who I really want to be and who I'm most comfortable with. When I first met my fiancé, when I first shared this hearing loss with her, she was very compassionate. She had complete empathy for me and my situation and my journey. I recall telling this to her, sharing this to her while kind of on our drive, home. It was, I think, our first couple of dates together, and she just held my hand and said, I understand, and thanks for sharing. And as an occupational therapist to be, she really showed that compassion and understanding, and I couldn't ask for anything better. I couldn't ask for a better person to share the rest of my life with, who really loves me for who I am, who understands that my current situation is not the one I chose for, but that I was kind of given when I would first enter this world. But nonetheless, I'm very grateful, very blessed to have met my fiancé.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm so happy for both of you guys. Angela is wonderful, and I'm not everyone gets to share that same story where they're so encouraged and supported by their partner, so that's really wonderful to hear. So this is a funny aside, but Yat and I actually met at a health fair 2 years ago, and that was that the day of your first date with your fiance?
It's funny how you brought that up, because I recall, I think that was the day I was going to ask her to be my girlfriend.
Right.
So it's been like 2 years, 2.5 years, and you know how all these things intersect. I mean, I'm glad I shared that moment with you, Annie, at the health fair when I told you, hey, these were the plans, and just to see it kind of come into fruition, and now we're engaged. It's just really amazing to share this journey with you.
Wow, that's so wonderful to hear, meeting you guys at the very beginning of your journey and then coming such a long way 2 years later. Really makes me so happy for both of you guys. Yat, when I first met you, my first thoughts were, he is super confident and so well spoken. And I know you have been engaged with quite a few public speaking events in the past, but with the whole pandemic, where and which kind of platforms can we expect to see you speak at next?
I'm really humbled to see that you appreciate my public speaking skills. I just find it ironic how a deaf and hard of hearing person is elevated to an opportunity to speak. I think it's such a humbling experience. I think it's such a blessing that I'm offered at different places an opportunity to speak about communication accessibility in general, and also to share my life journey. And I've had the chance to speak at multiple events, whether it's with the government, whether it's with other radio channels or TV channels, or even at conferences. And now I'm here on YouTube. And the reason why I started Let There Be Ears on YouTube is because I recognized during the pandemic there's no in-person events. And I missed having conversations with people and families about my journey, because I just realized how important it is to have a role model for young children and for families. So you're going to be able to see me continue to make videos on here at Let There Be Ears. I'm going to continue to inspire wherever I can, share my journey, share my expertise, and to share little things about, what it's like to be deaf and hard of hearing, and what it was like when I was younger, battling self-esteem and, self-confidence challenges. Moving ahead, you're free to book me as well. I would love to be part of your next conferences or speaking engagement. Head over to my business email at lettherebeears@gmail.com and connect with me to book Let There Be Ears to your next conference as well.
That's awesome, Yat. I am so excited to see your future endeavors, and I'm so happy for you. And if you want more conversations between Yat and I to talk about any questions you might have, any future topics, please leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll be sure to be checking the comments and hopefully making videos to talk about anything else you guys want to hear. That'll be it for today, and closing remarks from Mr. Yat.
Before we end, though, I have to say a huge kudos to Annie, registered audiologist, for joining our channel today again in our second video, because we've never had a guest here before. It's such a great opportunity to talk about hearing health, and for you to learn more about me without me asking all the questions and without me doing all the talking. So until next time, goodbye!